Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another lesson with enguru. My name is Karan, and I am the head teacher over here at enguru. Today, we're going to look at something that I believe is the most sought after question amongst all of my students, especially working professionals or those who are applying to a job. Well, it is, how do I crack the interview? We will look at it in detail over due course, but today we're going to look at a few tips that you should keep in mind when you go take an interview. Well, let's dive right into it then. Today's topic, as I said, is a bit of interview skills and how you can succeed at job interviews. Those who are now just about to finish graduating, or they're planning to change their jobs, or they're just looking for a new job anyway, this is something that will come in handy for you. Before we actually start with the crux of the lesson, or what I'm actually here to share with you, let's look at a few tips that you should keep in mind when you go for an interview. The first tip that you need to keep in mind when you go for an interview is to have a good first impression. It is very important for us to make sure that within the first 20 seconds, the interviewer knows that we are here, that we are good, and of course that we are ready for the interview. A few things that you can keep in mind would be wearing good clothes, well-ironed clothes, having a smile on your face, shaking hands with the interviewer, and of course, wishing them the time of the day. Very, very important. First impressions are, of course, the last impression, even in the case of your interviews. The next thing that we're going to look at is how to give a structured answer. Now, this is something that I am going to talk about later, but a structured answer is very important for us to tell the interviewer that we are very clear and focused with what we want to say. We must make sure that we are slow and that our answers have a particular structure, because that will help us to give a complete answer. More of this later. Next point. The interview is about you. So you're going to tell them a story. Make sure that your story is one that you enjoy. Say it positively. Don't use a lot of negative words. And of course, make sure that you're actually saying the truth. The interviewer will know if you're not. It is to be yourself. You don't have to be overtly aggressive or overtly passive during an interview. You don't have to go for an interview like you have already got the job. You also don't have to go to the interview like you're begging for it. Just be yourself, go, and don't stress out. The last thing that we need to keep in mind is to show that you are valuable. How do you do this? Make sure that whatever you tell in the interview adds value to the job that you are applying to. Make sure that you talk about experiences that are relevant to the job. Make sure that your answers are sensible and they're not very vague. Having said this, let's go to point number 2 again, where we are going to look at how to give a structured answer. Well, that's really very easy to do with a very simple technique, if I may, and that is called the STAR technique. The STAR technique has 4 letters, S, T, A, and R, as you can see on your screen. S stands for situation, wherein you describe the situation that you were in. The task is what you were supposed to do in that situation. Action is what you finally did, and the result is what you achieved from your actions. The STAR technique helps us to organize our answers in a way that is tangible, and it also helps us to flesh out our experience. It keeps you focused to what you need to answer. Let's take, for example, the interviewer asks me, tell me about a time when you had to manage a difficult situation. And I'll say, many years ago, I was working in this company and I had a manager who could not stick to timelines. It was a bad experience, but then I managed it. I'm not really telling them about what the task was. I did not tell them what the action was that I took. The result is also not very clear, though there was some insight into what the situation is. This is not such a good answer. Well, I'm going to tell you how I would answer this question, and then you can share in the comments below how you would like to use the STAR technique to answer the same question. Let's have a look. So, when I was handling the B2B project, I was working with a team of 3 members. This project was extremely critical for the company because it would ensure that we get good revenue. That's the situation. As a part of the project, we had to create content for our client, and this content had to be rolled out every week. Unfortunately, out of all the managers, there was one who was unable to finish and complete the task on time. This person shared the content just a few hours before the live class. Of course, I could not really express how disappointed I was with this, but I knew that I had to take some action. I also knew that I wanted to increase the onus that my manager took for their own work. So, starting the next week, I asked all my managers what they thought was a realistic timeline for them to submit the work. With this, all of them said that they can submit it 2 days before, one said they can submit it a day before. But yes, of course, none of them said that they want to submit it on the day of the live class. And I said, yes, that makes sense. As a result of this, my managers were better able to stick to timelines because they had drawn timeline for themselves. This also improved the efficiency and made the output much better. And after that, my managers were never late with their submissions. So, did you see that I used the STAR technique to talk about a difficult situation at work? If you want to know what different phrases we can use when we want to talk about the STAR technique, here are a few of them for you. I used some of them, but I didn't use all of them. If you want, you can use these as well, and you can frame your own answer for this question. Write your answer in the comments below, and of course, the best one will get pinned to the top. So, that was what we have for today. Using the STAR technique, and of course, a few tips that you should keep in mind when you go in for an interview. I would also like you to think about what are some do's and don'ts of an interview, and you can share them with all of our viewers. And finally, don't forget to download the enguru app from the Play Store today to improve your English speaking skills and to look forward to more content like this. At the same time, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have a wonderful day, everyone.